Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Dog Master, a novel of the first dog, by W. Bruce Cameron, narrated by David Colacci. Present day. At exactly 9 a.m., the uniformed guards at the back of the room pulled every door shut in muscular coordination, a metallic clang echoing through the college lecture hall. The security men were grinning. Maintaining the peace on a liberal arts campus mostly consisted of tolerating unruly students while keeping them approximately in line. So this exercise, an annual ritual, gave them a fleeting sense of order triumphing over chaos. The loud crash of the doors had startled the conversations into silence, and now the students, arrayed in the stadium-style seats, sat with their necks twisted toward the back of the room to see what was going on. Immediately, a loud and urgent pounding of fists on metal proclaimed the desperate despair of those who hadn't made it inside in time for class. Then, after just a moment, the pummeling abruptly halted, as the guards on the other side of the double doors told the late arrivals they were tardy and therefore had to exit the building. It was the first class of the first day of the first semester for these freshmen. Prompt attendance was strictly required. Welcome to college. Dr. James K. Morby the mortician, as he wasn't supposed to know he was called, broke from the shadows at the back of the stage and strode briskly to the podium. He wore a crisp blue suit, a white shirt, and a tight necktie, an outfit he'd donned for just this first week before slipping into his more habitual plaid shirt and baseball cap. There was a purpose to his clothing, for the careful way his sparse brown hair was combed back, for the clean shave he'd applied to his baby-faced cheeks, for the stern glare in his normally folksy hazel eyes. It was all costumed and choreographed to turn these kids from high school students into college students. Morby had just 3 classes over the next week to get it done. "The reason," he intoned into his microphone, "that you have been assigned seats is so that I may call on you by name." Morby waited, watching the students glance at each other before they uneasily rearranged themselves. Who knew the seating chart was serious? Morby spotted a bank of empty chairs and then glanced at the screen in front of him. "Thus, when I call on Mr. Brosh— Are you here, Mr. Brosh? Kevin Brosh? No, you are not here, but had you been here, I would have been looking directly at you." Morby paused and savored his mental image of Brosh's friends telling him that Morby had been looking for him in class. Mr. Brosh would not be absent again. Morby let them mull that one over. He knew that the freshmen, who had by plan or chance arrived early enough to clear security and make it to the lecture, were feeling a bit smug about themselves at the moment, and he knew their smugness wouldn't last much longer. Freshman orientation had taken most of the weekend. Then, Sunday afternoon, yesterday, parents had tearfully departed, and the students had seized their new independence and ridden it hard into the night. Most of the eyes regarding him now were blurry and unfocused, shimmering with fatigue and hangovers. They'd caroused, they'd pursued fornication, they'd approached ceramic bowls on humble hands and knees. They thought they had college figured out. It was up to Morby to slap that notion out of their heads. This was the only 101-level class required for all incoming freshmen, and the only one that accelerated to full speed from the first moment. The other professors mostly ran through their syllabi and passed out materials the initial few days, waiting for Morby the mortician to work his magic. "Your reading assignment is the first 5 chapters of your textbook on the Upper Paleolithic." It was 120 pages, probably more than any of them had been required to read in any 2-day period in high school. "We'll have the test on the material and today's lecture on Wednesday. Friday, your papers are due at the start of class." They were bright kids, or they wouldn't be here, but Morby's class, Early Humans, was the scholastic equivalent.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?